Present.
Ms. Gresham is recovering from knee surgery. She's doing well, and we wish her a speedy recovery and good health and encouragement. She'll be able to kick.
Present.
Here. Present. Can we all please rise for a moment of silence? And before we go into Pledge Allegiance, I'm going to call, Central is in the house. The Central Junior Award-winning Junior ROTC is here. They're going to come up and with the colors, and then we will do the Pledge Allegiance at that point in time. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much, Central Award-winning Junior ROTC. You could please be seated. We will now move to the swearing in of school committee members. Our clerk and Gladys Oyola is here, and she will bring up the swearing in of our school committee members. Gladys, thank you very much for your continued efforts. So school committee members, could you, the commissioner will tell, Madam Clerk will tell you. Go ahead.
I, Josiah Gonzalez, do solemnly swear that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and will support the Constitution thereof. That I will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent on me as a Springfield School Committee member. Agreeable to the rules and regulations of the Constitution of the United States and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and the laws thereof. The Charter and ordinances of Springfield. The rules of the school committee. And that I will perform all of the duties. And obligations incumbent on me. So help me God.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, and happy and healthy New Year. I know it's been a little tumultuous right now, but we will get through this as we've done before in working together in cooperation, and I deeply appreciate, as does the school committee, the resiliency of our residents, business community, and our school staffs on it. We're also joined by my friend and State Representative Jake Oliveira, who's here. Jake, thank you very much. Former member of the school committee membership on the state level, and now a state representative. So Jake, thank you very much for being here. And I know if we weren't going through this COVID-19 Omicron uptick, this place would be packed. But I know there are family members and dear friends, limited, that are here, and we want to give you a round of applause. Thank you for standing by your elected official, he or she. We have tough skin, so we're used to getting knocked around a bit, but I know for a fact it affects family members, so we appreciate that very much, and thank you for being here. Last thing I'll say before we go into items requiring vote of the school committee. Tomorrow, the building of another new school in the city of Springfield continues, and that's with the DeBerry Swan School as we do the topping off ceremony, and that's well over $700 million of new schools and rehab schools that we have done here in the city of Springfield. And my administration, school committee, city council will continue to work together to continue to be the most in the state on doing that for the good of our kids, students, and staffs, and for the good of residents and the business community. And it is great to have new school committee member, Josiah Gonzalez, who is here. We appreciate that. It's an exciting time now as we're moving forward. So with that, we're going to move to items requiring a vote of the school committee. A is the nomination and election of vice chairperson. Is there any nominations on the floor, please?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I'd like to nominate Christopher Collins for vice chair.
Nomination put forth by Josiah, school committee man Gonzalez for current vice chair Chris Collins. Is there a second on that?
Second, Mr. Mayor.
Second by Attorney Peter Murphy. Any discussion? Hearing none. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, more than sufficient vote. Matter passes. Congratulations, Vice Chair. We're also joined by my friend and colleague, Celsa Economics himself, and my state rep, Carlos Gonzalez. Thank you very much, Carlos, for what you do on the state level. We will now move to the appointment of the secretary to the school committee, Superintendent Warwick.
Nominate
Is it-
Patty McCarthy to continue as the secretary of the school committee.
Patty, you sure you want to keep doing this? All right, there's Patty, Ms. McCarthy's done a tremendous job. And we're also joined by my friend and colleague, State Representative Orlando Ramos. Thank you very much, Orlando, for being here. Nomination on the floor for Patty McCarthy to be the secretary to the school committee, and she's done yeoman work, and we deeply appreciate that. I don't know if there's a second required. I think it's just a second by Vice Chair Chris Collins. Any other discussion or comments? Hearing none, roll call vote is required. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes.
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 Yes, more than sufficient vote, this matter passes. Congratulations, Patty.
Or condolences.
Condolences. Yeah. We're also joined by our former colleague who worked very hard for the new Lincoln Brightwood School, now a city councilwoman. Maria Perez is here. Maria? And I thought I saw Senator Adam Gomez also walk in here. Oh, and I apologize, my mind went blank, but the first Latina city councilor in Chicopee, the city of Chicopee's history. Please refresh my memory, dear. Ms. Lopez, Marina, that's what I wanted to know on that. And the sewing thing is going well? The sewing? Great, with your mom. My mom being a former seamstress. Congratulations again. So now we'll move to the approval of rules and regulations of school committee, Robert's Rules of Order. I'll go to the parliamentarian, Vice Chair Chris Collins, please.
These have been our rules of order forever, so I would recommend that we adopt them again.
Motion made by Vice Chair Collins. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Hurst. Any discussions or comments? Hearing none. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes.
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 Yes, more than sufficient vote, this matter passes. And speaking of Ms. Gresham, too, as I mentioned with now City Councilwoman Maria Perez, I want to thank Ms. Gresham, too. She was our liaison, as you did down the north end, up at Mason Square for the Barry Swan School, which we'll do the topping tomorrow. So, Barbara, I know you can view this after. Thanks, and get well soon. D is to approve changing the Special Staff Demographics Subcommittee to Diversity, Inclusion, Equity Subcommittee as a permanent standing committee. Vice Chair Collins?
Yes, the old name didn't really reflect the work of the committee. And certainly, I don't think this should be have a lesser standing than any other committee. I think this is the ongoing work of the committee, and we should make it a permanent committee.
Thank you. I know we had discussions on that, school committee members. I know Hurst and Naylor and Maria Perez headed up the former thing. Any discussions or comments pertaining to this?
Mayor?
Ms. Hurst, yeah?
So thank you, Vice Chairman Chris, for actually creating this committee or creating a permanent committee. I think my only request would be that this particular committee be exactly what, or the makeup of this committee be exactly what it is. And so the last time it was myself, Ms. Perez, and Ms. Gresham, and I just think it would be important that the diversity of this committee be reflected in this subcommittee as well. So to ensure that it's not just BIPOC folks, right? Because we know that oftentimes people of color tend to have to carry the burden of this work, and it would be good to ensure that our white counterparts are also a part of carrying this work forward.
Thank you, Ms. Hurst. Any other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, is there a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Motion by Vice Chair Collins. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Second by Attorney Peter Murphy. Roll call vote is required. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes.
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 Yes, more than sufficient vote, this matter passes. We're also joined by City Councilor Justin Hurst is here. Justin, thank you very much. Anisha's husband. E is to establish chairpersons to standing committees. Vice Chair Collins, please.
I think it's in our packet. Yes, it's in the packet, Mayor.
Okay. Any questions or comments?
I do have a question, Mr. Mayor.
Ms. Naylor, go ahead.
I had been advocating for us to have a diversity, inclusion, and equity committee for the last year. As a matter of fact, prior to last year, I had asked for it to be instated going into last year. So I'm a little appalled that I was not put on as chair when I asked to be put on as chair of that committee. So I just wanted to have it put on record that I did make that request several times. I did advocate for that committee several times. And I'm also interested to find out who is going to be on that committee.
I'm sure the vice chair will respond who's to be on the committee. That is the vice chair's prerogative, he or she, who they decide to make a chairwoman or chairman on it. And the vice chair has decided on Josiah Gonzalez as the chair. And he can speak upon what other members will be on there. I don't know, Vice Chair, you want to comment on that at all, or no?
Just to deal with fact rather than fantasy, Latonia, what you asked for during the course of the year was to create a separate committee for equity only, not to change this committee. I think that it should be one committee. And when you see the members, it will be reflective of both the thoughts of Mrs. Hurst, because she expressed those thoughts earlier, and reflective of people who participated with the work already.
Thank you, Vice Chair Collins. Any questions or comments?
I just want to say that is not true, that I did ask for a committee to be started, and I was told that it would not be a committee started because we had a demographics committee, and that would then cover those responsibilities. And I said that if we cannot have a separate committee, then we could at least change the focal point of that committee, at which time I was told that the chair at that time would then be able to make a decision if that was the direction of that committee at that time. So, as is the case, whatever the decision is moving forward, as I said earlier, I want it to be put on record that I had requested it, and that whatever decision you make is up to you at this point as vice chair, but that I don't agree with the decision because I do have the expertise in diversity, equity, and inclusivity. I'm also on the MASC division of inclusivity and equity for the Massachusetts Association for School Committees who don't know what that is. So I just find it very much disrespectful, for lack of a better term at this point.
Mr.
Thank
Mayor,
you.
Vice Chair Collins, please.
again, I want to deal with some reality here. The committee that existed was actually and had a plan covering all of the topics. And if you had attended the meetings
I did.
of that committee,
I did. I missed one meeting because I was sick. I just
Ms.
want to
Na-
make it clear,
Ms. Na-
don't
Ms.
misstate.
Ms. Naylor, the Vice Chair has the floor.
I
Once he's
understand,
done,
Mr.
then
Mayor.
I'll give it to you.
I don't want to be disrespectful, but I also don't want untruths being said. I was at every meeting except for one meeting that was held even though I said I could not make it because I had a situation going on, an emergency with my family. So rather than me state what that emergency was, I was informed that that was what the situation was. I never just missed a meeting. As a matter of fact, I've attended more meetings and more subcommittee meetings than most of my colleagues, with the exception of maybe the vice chair.
Vice Chair Collins, you have the floor, please.
I'm not going to continue an argument. I checked the attendance of the committee. I talked with the chairman of the committee. I made my decisions based on the information that I have.
And I'm sure that school committee man, Josiah Gonzalez, will do a very good job, as you do, Ms. Naylor, moving forward. Any other questions or comments? Thank you. Hearing none, is there a motion, please?
So moved, Mayor.
Motion by Vice Chair Collins. Is there a second, please? Is there a second, please?
Second.
Second by Attorney Peter Murphy. Roll call vote is required. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, more than sufficient vote, this matter passes. Thank you very much. Now we'll move to Section 3, informational discussion items. A, Attorney Melinda Phelps to review ethics, rules, regulations, open meeting law, public documents. Attorney Phelps, please. Or Superintendent Ward?
No, no.
Okay.
Ms. Naylor, here's the memo. Mr. Gonzalez?
Thank you.
Collins?
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Thank you, Attorney Phelps.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, please.
Good morning, or good afternoon. In front of you is the memo I prepared, similar to the memo of other inauguration days, with regards to two issues. The open meeting law, reminding the members that within 2 weeks of taking oath of office, you are required to complete a receipt of the open meeting law materials and submitting that with a copy to me, but also submitting it to the clerk. The open meeting law, just to have a quick primer on it, is any oral or written communication through any medium, including electronic mail, between or among a quorum. And a quorum of this body is 4 persons. Must be required and posted and open to the public to comply with the open meeting law. As you may have read recently, also with regards to text messaging during school committee meetings, that is considered to be deliberation and deliberation of the body. So that is prohibited and would have to comply with the open meeting law with 48 hours posting and notice to the public. There are exceptions to the open meeting law where 4 of you can convene for an on-site inspection, for example, tomorrow at the new school building, attending a conference, or attending a meeting of another public body, provided that there is no deliberation of those 4 members. On the second page is just another review of executive session and the purpose of executive session, which must be stated with roll call voting, both to enter executive session and to exit and return to open session. The other requirement is with regards to ethics law and conflict of interest law training. Within 30 days, or by February 1st of 2022, you must complete an online mandatory conflict of interest education training. That is required to be done every 2 years. For those of you who are veterans of the school committee, I've attached a chart of when your next test is due. So depending upon when you last completed it, I thought it would be helpful to give you the date that you must comply. Again, you'll receive a certificate of completion. Please, if you could just forward that to me, I keep track of that just in case there's ever a question of who's completed the training or not. I've attached then on the third page the certificate of receipt of open meeting law materials and of the conflict of interest law receipt under the fourth page. And then what is required is the summary of the conflict of interest law for your review. As always, I'm available for questions that the school committee members may have. Just email me with requests, and if it's necessary, provide a legal opinion or a memo, or I can direct you to the document that you may need to answer a specific question. So I look forward to working with all of you in the coming years. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Attorney Phelps. Any questions or comments of Attorney Phelps? Okay, hearing none, we'll now move to B, determine the voting positions and seating order. This is a very scientific method that is used here, Patty. Madam Clerk? Yes, very. And the winner is
That's Barbara's.
Barbara's, yeah. Okay. Drum roll, please. Are you the same with her?
One again.
Okay, so she's,
2.
5.
She has 4. 3.
okay. Congratulations to everyone again. That concludes the meeting. We'll make the seating adjustments for next meeting, and to each and every one of you, good health and for a Happy New Year. I don't know if any school committee members like to make any comments. Your school committee member Gonzalez, you're new, so I don't know if any comments would like to be made by any school committee members before we adjourn the meeting.
I'd like to see, go ahead.
What was that? I couldn't hear you.
Would you like to say a few words?
Yeah, absolutely.
Any school committee members?
First and foremost, I'd like to thank God for this opportunity to serve in this capacity here in the city of Springfield. Also like to thank my beautiful wife, being a tremendous support to me, family, friends, parents, mentors. I'd like to thank you. And as you know, I'm joining this body of elected officials. Sincerely, I'm looking forward to learning from each and every one of you as a lifelong learner. And I reflect on a quote by President FDR. He once said, we cannot build the future for our youth, but we can build our youth for the future. For the city of Springfield, I would say we can build our students for the future that they're looking to embark on. Thank you and God bless.
If there's any other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, is there?
Just a shout out to Mrs. Gresham. I'm sure you're probably watching. We all wish you a speedy recovery and are looking forward to you be back in the room with us.
Thank you, Vice Chair Collins. Chris, appreciate it. And I want to give a shout out to Brenda Focus, Springfield, the whole crew, who have been very instrumental making sure that we've been able to keep the public engaged and with public meetings, and we've kept the school committee business going and continue to move the district forward, looking very much so to the topping off of another new school being built here in the city of Springfield, the Barry Swan School, which will be tomorrow on Eastern Avenue. And so we're looking forward on Union Street. We're looking forward to that. And I appreciate all the continued dedicated efforts and hard work of all school committee members. A lot of times you'll see meetings that things are voted through. The hard work really comes in the hours of time is spent in subcommittee meetings in which school committee members, he or she, chair. And sometimes those meetings can go on for 2, 3, 4 hours at a time on it. So we do this all in the goodness for our kids and the staff. Any other questions or comments? If not, is a motion.
Mr. Mayor, may I
Yes.
have,
Sure.
may I say something really quickly? I just want to thank God also for this opportunity to yet serve again my community and represent my constituents. I also want to thank God for my husband, my love of my life for the past 20 years. We just celebrated a 20-year anniversary. And my kids couldn't be here. They're in school, but I'm thankful for them and my husband and my mom, of course, and my father and my mother and father-in-law, Pastor Bishop Naylor and Overseer Naylor, and of course, my friends that are here, Ayana and Hamida, as well as my friends and family that supported me throughout my campaign. You are greatly appreciated. I know we all couldn't fit in the room today, but I'm so thankful for each and every one of you, and we're going to continue to do what we need to do to help and support our families. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Naylor. Any other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, is there a motion on the floor to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion to tie. Motion of Vice Chair Collins, is there a second, please?
Second.
Second by Ms. Hurst. Roll call vote is required. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes.
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 Yes, vote is sufficient vote, this matter passes. Thank you for being here and watching, and good health to each and every one of you, and Happy New Year. Thank you.